Hi there guys, so previous Anthony Joshua opponent Dillian Whyte has explained that Anthony Joshua will no longer be the same fighter he was before. After losing that fight to Andy Ruiz Jr., this is what Dillian Whyte had to say about Anthony Joshua and his future in the sport of boxing. We've seen this before. Lennox Lewis was an aggressive fighter on the front foot, but he got knocked out by Hasim Rahman. That changed his style. People forget, Vladimir Klitschko was one of the most aggressive heavyweights for a long time, but he got done by Ross Purity, Corey Sanders, and Lamont Brewster, then changed his style. Joshua will be the same. Tall heavyweights start their careers very aggressively, but then, even Deontay Wilder, when he was copped a couple times by Luis Ortiz, thought, I'm just gonna wait. We have seen this time and time again in history, and it's always the same. So that is what Dillian Whyte has had to say about Anthony Joshua and his future in the sport of boxing and what he believes Anthony Joshua will put into motion in the future in his career. Now naturally, when you get a heavy puncher, a big guy who can punch like Anthony Joshua, they start walking through opponents at domestic level and then they move up to world level. But at that domestic level or lower, journeyman level, they start knocking guys over because there's just not the quality in the opponent. So he starts walking through opponents. But often when those knockouts start coming, the other parts of boxing start getting neglected, like the jab, like the movement, like the combinations, certain things that boxers need to do in order to grind out a victory, a 12-round decision victory, if they cannot get the knockout. Because at some point, a puncher will always come up against someone who can take their power. Deontay Wilder, he found it against Tyson Fury. Nigel Benn found it against Chris Eubank. And Anthony Joshua found it against Andy Ruiz Jr. But Anthony Joshua went and rematched Andy Ruiz Jr. and completely outboxed him over 12 rounds. Anthony Joshua proved that he had not been neglecting the other aspects of boxing despite getting those knockouts. He done it in the Joseph Parker fight where he had to go 12 rounds. He done it in the Andy Ruiz Jr. rematch where he also had to go 12 rounds. He proved he hasn't been neglecting the fundamentals of boxing. And in that rematch against Andy Ruiz Jr., that was the best performance I've seen from Anthony Joshua. He was calm, he was composed, picked his shots brilliantly, and didn't get too greedy. He was very disciplined in the fight. Didn't gas either, so he answered a lot of questions. His chin, he got caught a few times by Andy Ruiz, and also his stamina, which has always been a question mark in his career. Yet he held up for the full 12 rounds on his toes, moving around to the side, jabbing, and holding when he needed to. But Anthony Joshua put in a very disciplined and mature performance against Andy Ruiz Jr. And that proven that he didn't neglect the fundamentals of boxing and all of the things that he needed to learn along the way, especially given that he was getting the knockouts and he was steamrolling through a lot of people at domestic level. He knew that he needed those boxing fundamentals and those boxing skills because not everyone is just going to go down when you hit them. Andy Ruiz Jr. is a testament to that. So going back to Dillian Whyte's statement, Anthony Joshua will never be the same fighter again. He won't be so aggressive. Well, some part of that is true. I don't think Anthony Joshua will be so aggressive, but in the sense he won't be so naive. He won't go in there thinking, I can just bowl this guy over, hit him with a few right hands, and he's going to go down. He thought that a bit with Andy Ruiz Jr., I think. Caught him, knocked him down, and thought, this is it. Great, I've got him. I can finish this fight here and now. And it just wasn't the case. And I don't think he will ever think that again, because he thought it in the Vladimir Klitschko fight as well, and almost paid the price then. But he did pay the price in the Andy Ruiz Jr. fight. So Anthony Joshua won't have that same naivety to him again. So in that sense, no, Anthony Joshua will not be the same fighter as he was before because he is a more mature fighter and more disciplined when he is in the ring. He picks his shots. He knows when he needs to jab, when he needs to move, and make sure that he's outboxing the other guy and winning the rounds as well as hurting him, because it's not just about getting the knockout. Sometimes you do just need to box. I mean, look at Tyson Fury. He's widely considered by many as the best heavyweight on the planet. Others do consider Anthony Joshua the best heavyweight on the planet, but some do consider Tyson Fury as well. He hasn't got a huge knockout ratio. He does go the distance, he does go the full 12 rounds, but he gets the win. He outboxes the fighters first. Sometimes he gets the knockout, but he usually outboxes them first. That was his top priority, and I think Anthony Joshua will look to do the same. Now, having said that, if Anthony Joshua goes in there with someone like Deontay Wilder, I think Anthony Joshua is going to look to get him out of there. I think AJ will understand that as long as Deontay Wilder is in there, he is a danger. So outboxing him is a very dangerous game. So he needs to go for him and take him out early. Get to him before Wilder gets to AJ. So in that fight, it would be more aggressive. Anthony Joshua would be on the front foot and looking for that knockout. But against someone like Tyson Fury, Andy Ruiz Jr., even Dillian Whyte himself, Anthony Joshua is going to look to box and pick him apart slowly. If the knockout comes, then it comes, and he will capitalize on that. But in boxing, the knockout needs to come organically. You cannot force it, because that's when you get caught yourself, or you don't end up knocking the guy out and you end up losing rounds because you are loading up with your punches. So that is why Anthony Joshua will look to be a bit more disciplined when he goes in there with those kind of fighters, the Dillian Whytes, the Tyson Furies, the Andy Ruiz Jr.'s. Look to box, get that jab out, use his advantages, his physical advantages, hit him hard and often. And if they hurt, if they wobble, then close them for the finish. But not until that time comes. Guys, what are your thoughts on this? Dillian Whyte explaining that Anthony Joshua will no longer be the same fighter again after losing to Andy Ruiz Jr., especially given the manner of the loss as well. I think that Anthony Joshua is a better fighter now. I think this whole experience has created a better fighter in Anthony Joshua. But guys, what are your thoughts? Drop them in the comments below. Please leave a like as well and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.